Hi, I'm Jenny Pham from Roadtrip Nation, and welcome to Cross Section. Cross Section is a live event series all about exploring your interests and showing you cool jobs that connect to the things that you love. And today we're talking all about music. I'll be your host today, and we're here with our very first guest musician, Ray Ricafort. Hey, Ray.
What's up, everybody? Hi, Jenny. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. We'll get back to you in just a sec. But here also is my co-host, Carla. Hey, Carla, how's it going?
Hey, everyone.
So in just a few minutes, Carla and I are going to talk to our friend, Dan Pawlovich, the creator of the first tour-ready 3D-printed snare drum in the world and the touring drummer for Panic at the Disco. Here at Roadtrip Nation, we love exploring the intersection of interest and showing you jobs and career paths you may have never heard of. So we're really excited to hear how Dan used the power of computer science to create his 3D printed snare drum. But first, like I mentioned earlier, our special guest, Ray Ricafort. Ray is the founder of EIKES, a nonprofit focused on community empowerment. He's also one of the creators of Soulversations, a card game designed to bring humans closer together. In his spare time, he's a musician who loves making beats. Ray's music has even been featured in several Roadtrip Nation documentaries. Thanks for being here, Ray.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great intro. That was awesome.
All right, so we're going to dive into your story in a little bit. But first, we want to play a game that we love to play with our guests. It's called GPS. Gotta pick something.
Okay.
All right, so real quick, we're going to play GPS. How it works is I'll give you two options, and you just got to pick one or the other. Okay, first up. Would you rather make beats or freestyle?
When I was younger, freestyling 100%, but now beat making.
Nice. Loud music all the time or silence all the time?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would still have to go loud music then, over the silence.
Nice. And I know you've been on a few road trips. So road trip or travel by plane?
Ooh, definitely on the road. You just get to see the whole country and you get to see how everything is and connect the whole country on your own.
Very cool. And CD or vinyl?
Gotta go vinyl. I loved all my CDs from high school though, but yeah, definitely vinyl, just the sound and that it's awesome. Yeah.
What about headphones or speakers?
Ooh, speakers. I like hearing it and I like sharing it with other people. Yeah.
Yeah. And singing or dancing?
Ooh, dancing for sure. Gotta dance. I can't sing for anything.
And early bird or night owl?
I'm more of an early bird now. I used to be a night owl, but I love getting up really early and getting things done when it's like really still and early, for sure.
Yeah, totally. How about building something or seeing the finished product?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm moving more into building it. I used to just like to see the reveal at the end, but now I like being part of the process. Sure.
Nice. Yeah, I love seeing the process too. All right, what about personal projects or group projects?
Group projects for sure. Building collectively is, you can get so much further and do so much more all together, so I love that.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, our final bonus question. Can you imitate your favorite sound for us?
Mm-hmm. That was I tried to do a less obnoxious version of Dumb and Dumber when they're in the car. But, yeah.
That was perfect. Thank you so much for playing GPS. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so before we get into it, we're actually building a road trip playlist on Spotify in the background right now. So we want our audience to give us one song that represents them or where they're from, or just their favorite road trip song that we can add. What song would you add to the playlist, Ray?
I'm going to add one song I've been really listening to is Time by Hans Zimmer from the Inception soundtrack. I can
Nice.
do it when I'm running or when I'm trying to be creative or writing. So I'm going to have to go with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Can't go wrong with Hans Zimmer. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get into this. Is really cool because usually, when we're talking about like e-ike stuff, but I love that we're going to dive into the music side of it. So can you just start off by telling us how you got into making beats and music?
Yeah. I used to just freestyle a lot in high school, like throughout all of high school and college, and used to write a lot, and poetry and rapping was like my thing. And then people would always be like, yeah, I'll make you beats. I got you beats. Don't worry about it. And no one would ever finish the beats or make the beats. And I was like, if I'm just writing and I want to do this for myself and I want to like create things for myself. So I decided to just start to learn. And right around the time I started wanting to learn and getting more into like the software, things started to be available, like Fruity Loops. And it was one of the earlier workstations that I was on. And so I just started learning how to put together beats for myself so that I could write and make my own freestyle beats and things like that. And then just over the years, it's really like helped me connect in like different ways through like different areas of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. How would you describe yourself as an artist? Like, what kinds of genres and styles of music do you love the most?
I right now I listen to I love the idea of everything. Like Questlove talks about, he's as a as a creator, he considers himself a curator. So like a lot of like the influences and what he learns and what he takes from other artists that he really admires. I feel like I'm that where I take a lot of the mood and the feels of things
Yeah.
that connect with me and resonate with me. And so, but right now I make a lot of like more like moody lo-fi kind of beats, like really reflective, things that are just kind of get me in a mood of being reflective and writing and thinking.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of your beats, what sort of programs and tools do you use to make those
hmm
beats?
Yeah, so right now I used to use I started with Fruity Loops and then I was on Reason, so they're DAWs, like digital audio workstation. So which is really awesome
Hmm.
because before you used to have either you have your band, you have your live band, or you would have an
Yeah.
MPC sampler, was really expensive back in the day, and so now everything's super accessible. So I use Logic Pro X on the Mac, and then I have just a little. You can see a little MIDI controller here and a Kai it's just a mini
Nice.
one, an MPK. And so you can sample, you can chop things up, you can play the keys, you can put effects. And so um, it's a lot to just be able to play. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So we actually have an audience
Yeah.
question right now already. Do you
hmm
have a beat in your head and then start building it on the computer?
Mm. Sometimes I do, but for me, a lot of it is more so a feeling. So I'll sit down. That's what I really love about just the resources that you have these days. Whether like online, there's a website called Splice. So essentially, Splice is just a sampling website where you can get different samples of genres of music, of chords, of notes, of vocals, world
Mm,
instruments. And so for me, a lot of it is I love doing that where I'm just kind of sitting down and I'm just like ready to absorb. And so I'll go through, and whether I'm on YouTube and I'm looking for different like world music or different old soul and funk, and you can kind of just use a lot of the world's music, and you can build from
yeah.
there, from that music, or you can build your own drums and you can make your own chords and notes and go from there as well. So for me, it's a lot about writing the feeling, but there have been times for sure where
Yeah.
I know exactly what I want to make.
Nice. And this event is all about the intersection of computer science and your interests.
Yeah.
How does computer science, as you understand it, have an impact on your work?
Yeah. I mean, a, a ton, right? Like the accessibility of just being able to make music. Like I'm also outside of EX, I'm also a teacher and an educator. So for me to be able to connect with my kids because they can make beats, they have the accessibility to make beats and they're beat makers and they're starting at a younger age. So for us to connect over that, I used to make beats
Mm,
I used to work at a continuation school. And so we'd have a freestyle club. And so my ability to make beats, computer science has made it that it's so accessible for people to dive in and make the music. And all these tools and resources are more available because of computer science. Just makes the world more connected, especially if you're
yeah.
using music as the tool to connect to students or other people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Music is universal. So I love that you talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you touch a little bit more on the importance of representation in computer science?
Yeah, totally. I think that's just like because computer science is something that's connecting our world, that's more accessible, that's making things more at our fingertips, and more people have influence. That we want to have different voices and different experiences and different perspectives that are being the ones who influence us, that are having their say. Because just like a voice or music that we listen to,
Mm,
right? We listen to music around the world, but just like the science and the things that we touch should be representative of who's creating it and what are the different experiences and perspective they're having in the world. And so
yeah,
then the vastness and the possibility of it opens up too.
yeah, nice. So if someone wanted to get started making beats or maybe take their work to the next level, what kinds of software and tools would you recommend they start out with?
Yeah, I mean, basically doing beat making at the most basic level, like you can do it right now. Like you could go on a website, there's like Soundtrap, which is like everything is held online and you could download your beats there and then you could start from there. And then if you want to get like a workstation like Logic or Ableton, which are like a few $100s, and then you have these sites that you can use or use samples, and you can go from there. And then I think honestly, YouTube is such a great tool. There's so many master producers and musicians and people that have craft that are willing to
Hmm.
share what they know. Yeah, and then from there, it's however you want to put that up, how you want to go about it. Going on websites, whether you're on like SoundCloud, putting yourself up on Spotify. But yeah, there's a big community, and the community is
Yeah,
so accessible, and that's all due to like computer science as well. We're all connected, and people are willing to help each other out. So yeah,
yeah. So cool. Thank you for sharing all of that with us. Can you go into a little
yeah,
bit
sure.
about what you're gonna do today?
Yes, so I'm just going to put together a little beat. So I was watching the At Your Fingertips documentary on computer science, which was awesome. And so I wanted to make a beat around that, but then I heard a couple leaders that really resonated with me. So there was Kelsey Campbell,
Mm,
Ryan Johnson, and Dr. Ann Gates. And so they were three interviews, and they just shared really cool quotes about things that I think are just about life, but then also tied to computer science and the opportunities there. So just wanted to weave that in and make a little beat today. So we'll see how it goes.
nice. Awesome. Thank you so much. We also want everyone out there to
Yeah.
give Ray some inspiration in the chat. So go ahead and throw out a sound, a feeling, a favorite artist, anything that you have. And, maybe Ray can get to some of your suggestions a little bit later on and add some of that towards the end. He's going to be building a beat and we'll be playing it at the end of the show. So stick around to hear Ray's beat. And Ray, we will let you get to work and we'll check back with you in just a little bit.
All right. Sounds good. See you guys.
Cool. See you in a bit. All right, so we're about to talk to drummer Dan Pawlovich. But before we chat with Dan, I'm going to throw it over to Carla for quote of the day.
Thanks, Jenny. At Roadtrip Nation, we love talking to people all over the country about their careers. They give us advice on work, life, and everything in between. We're going to head over to Brooklyn, New York for today's quote of the day. We met Kelly Cambry, CEO and co-founder of Blue Studios, while shooting our documentary film At Your Fingertips, which is all about discovering careers in computer science. Check out what she had to say.
I feel like STEM and just a lot of things kind of present themselves as like this ivory tower that you have to be invited into. And I believe everybody should be able to make decisions for themselves. Not everybody's going to be like a neuroscientist or like a materials engineer, and it's like that's not necessary. But for me, giving kids and families access to like early STEM education just gives you more options.
I love this quote because it's a reminder that studying computer science or choosing to work within the computer science field is not an impersonal or narrow career path. It can very much lead to careers that work on a human level, like connecting children with high-quality online STEM classes or making music that connects with people. All right, back to you, Jenny, to introduce our next guest.
Thanks, Carla. I'm so excited to talk to our next guest. He's a musician, songwriter, producer, engineer. He does it all. And he's currently the touring drummer for Panic at the Disco. And we're super, super excited to talk to him about his latest project as the creator of 3D drums. Welcome, Dan. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We're so happy, and we're going to be diving into more of the process of your 3D drums. But before we jump into it, we want to play the same game that we played with Ray called GPS Gotta Pick Something.
Cool.
All right, so same rules. I'm going to give you two options, and you just got to pick one or the other. So,
Okay.
First question, bass drum or snare drum?
Ooh, if I was a better snare drum player, if I had maybe like a marching upstart, I might pick snare. But bass is pretty cool because I can just do four on the floor and just go dish 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 dish. You know.
Nice. What about producing or drumming?
Ooh, wow. These are all really great. Well, drumming because I love everyone that I get to hang out with and play music with. And I have more experience doing that right now. While I totally, really, really love producing, right now for me, it's drumming.
Nice. Stadium venue or intimate venue?
Both are special, of course. Wow, it's like picking your favorite child. Small venues are just so cool, honestly, because of the intimacy. But I've always liked to say, like, the energy between a small venue and a big venue can be the same, just in the context of it. You know, if there's a venue that's, I don't know, like 10,000 people and everyone's into it, then it's just as cool as a room that only fits 100 people and 100 people are into it. So they're both awesome, but there's just something special because it's how we all have to come up as young musicians and artists, is in the small spaces first. So.
Oh, totally. I agree. I really love intimate venues. I think those are so good. Pray for the Wicked tour or Death of a Bachelor tour?
Again, both awesome. I would have to say Pray for the Wicked. Because it's just, well, I guess it's just kind of in order. Like things become more and more fun. Like anything you can do in this world is like, you can, as you're doing one thing, you're slowly perfecting a bunch of small elements around it. And then hopefully the next thing you do is like that much better. And so I would just say, like, in order of events, Pray for the Wicked tour was just insane. And I honestly just can't wait to see what we come out with next.
Oh, I'm excited too. So I know you travel a lot. So would you rather visit a new place or revisit a favorite place?
I think I would like to see a new place. We're like pretty spoiled that we get to see a lot of the world, but we haven't seen all of it. And while it can be really nerve-wracking to go to a new place, we always have a lot of friends that are with us who may have had the experience, or we're most likely going to meet someone who's going to show us like all the best of that area. So we're super lucky and a
Yeah.
little bit spoiled. And so yeah, it's a new place for sure.
Nice. Traditional drum or 3D drum?
3D drum. Well, no, it's like
So
the 3D drum, the start of it right now, kind of where it's at right now, is like a proving ground. And rather than trying to introduce something that's like, oh well, we don't need traditional drums anymore, that would never be the case, because traditional drums
yeah.
have been on countless pieces of music that are just adored and are in people's hearts and souls, and like, so you could never take
Yeah.
any of that away from them. I'm just trying, and I didn't even know I was doing this in the first place, but I am trying to have the 3D drums be able to sit in the same room with a real drum kit and have someone not not feel
Uh,
negatively about the 3D drum. So I think we're off to a good start.
yeah,
We're doing pretty
yeah.
good. So I would say traditional drums forever, but hopefully 3D drums can hang out with traditional drums at some point.
Yeah, I hope so too. And our last bonus question, can you imitate your favorite sound?
Oh man, Ray did a great one. He did the sound from Dumb and Dumber, and I actually have a theory on that. I think what's LT what is it? Darn, it's I don't want to get this wrong because especially you guys probably know it. It's LTC code. What's the Anyway, I can't remember. I have a theory that it's this certain sound that you use to sync up video and audio, right? And I can't believe it's slipping my mind
Uh,
right now. But I think it's that sound, and you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's LTC. But
okay,
anyway,
if when it comes
favorite
back to
sound.
you, yeah, we'll hear it.
Yeah, right. I tend to do this like once per interview. So my favorite sound right now, I'm thinking about my daughter, like Maya did yesterday, and I'm going to do a monkey. So. And the face. Oh, time code. Sorry, time code. Time code. Time code. I think it's the sound of time code. The one that Jim Carrey did. Ray's, like he said, was like a tamed down version of it. But the
Yeah,
sound that Jim
yeah.
Carrey did, I have a theory that that's the sound of time code. It's the craziest sound ever. Like it's happening during all of the Panic shows, but like nobody would ever want to hear that sound. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. That's awesome. All right. Well, that was GPS. Thank you so much for giving us an insight into who you are. But before we get into the interview, we're building the Road Trip playlist on Spotify. We want our audience to give us a song that represents them. So, Dan, what song would you say that you want to add to the playlist that represents you?
From a record that just came out a couple days ago by a band called The Network. This song is called Theory of Reality.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add that to the playlist. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got into music?
Yeah, it started in would it be elementary school, right before? Yeah, so in elementary school, and you get to play like the recorder, and I thought it was maybe a little bit silly, but then choose a second instrument, and I chose saxophone, which is actually one that Maya chose too, which was kind of cool.
Mhm.
And then a buddy of mine got a guitar, and I wanted to just start a garage band with him, so it was natural that I would pick up a drum set so I could play along with him. And yeah, I think that was pretty much the start of it. I sold my saxophone after about 3 years for my first drum kit, and yeah,
Oh,
then
wow.
the rest is a long story.
Nice. Oh, we have a question from the audience here from Minx. How did you approach the creation of the 3D drums?
Hey,
Did you have
thanks.
a set idea on how you wanted it to be when you started, or did it come along with brainstorming?
The original idea happened. I don't know. I want to say what, like it's actually a couple of years like after I started playing drums. So probably when I was like 14 or 15. It was just the idea of like how could you improve upon these drums that have a bunch
Mm,
of metal pieces like attached to and screwed into it. Um, and I kind of just like sat on that idea. It's one of those things you just put in a journal at that time, and then when
Yeah.
got my first laptop, I would remember it and I would put it in my notes. And then when like the iPhone and stuff like that came out, then I was using my notes on my phone. I put it on my phone. It was one of these things that just kept coming around, but there was nothing I felt like I could actually do about it. And then I saw a
Yeah.
video one day on 3D printing, and like that was the moment where I was like, wait, this idea that kept coming around every couple of years is like all of a sudden I just had a flash and like it's possible now. And so from that point on, uh, this is one of those things where like no one was ever knocking down my door for me to come out with this thing. It's not like a band and a record where you pretty much need to do every like year or year and a half. This was something like I
Yeah.
could just do on my own in total silence, and no one even has to know about it. So pretty much every night after shows or late night whenever we were home, after everyone's asleep, I would just kind of pick up my computer for a few minutes and start designing it. And again, just like the drums, it's like it all started there with that through the idea, and then
Mm.
seeing 3D printing, and then from there it just becomes like a really long story. But yeah, that was the origin of it. Just trying to improve in any way
Nice.
on traditional drums.
Yeah, and speaking of improvements, what were some of those design aspects that you really wanted to push the boundaries on or improve through 3D printing?
Well, I actually have them here right now. I don't want to overload
Oh,
the mics, so I'm
sweet.
not going to play it. But um, this is the main thing that I wanted to improve on right here. All of these. I'm looking myself in the screen. I'll just look at the drum. All of these things right here. These are the pieces that are normally on traditional drums. They're chunks of metal, and all different drum companies have their own shape that like people recognize as that company. Um, but the way you attach it to the shells, you have like a wood or a metal shell, and on the inside of the drum, you would see it like just a ton of screws all holding these things on. And while traditional drums, obviously, like we talked about earlier, they're totally fine. They sound amazing. There doesn't need to be
Mhm.
improvement on the sound necessarily. Um, but the idea was like maybe it could. Maybe if this could be done, if we could make it all out of one piece, maybe it could sound better. And again, while it wasn't initially plastic that I was thinking of this idea, it was obviously
Yeah.
wood. Plastic ended up being the first way to do it, and so the improvement was um, taking the extra pieces out of the equation and just making these become part of the shell itself. Now, there's a couple pieces on here that hold the snare chain here.
Hmm.
This is called a butt plate, and this is called a throw off right here. So you can turn the snare chain on and off. So I think I could
Yeah.
design those into it too. I haven't really gotten around to that yet. But this was the first main focus. These pieces right here, and as you can see, there's kind of like a wave pattern that shows off how it is part of the
Yeah.
shell. Yeah. So
Are,
that
are
was the
those
main area, and
the pieces that the pieces that you're talking about, are they the air vents?
no, oh no, that's a good segue though. The air vent is this little that little thing right there, and I
Oh,
believe you have a
I
clip.
see. Okay.
If
Yeah,
that's
we've
what you're
got a
going if
clip.
that's what you're
We'll
going
show
for.
that. Yeah, I was just wondering because I was okay, there you go. Yeah, so what are we seeing here?
Blurry, but there's like a program, CAD program that you can use that's just accessible online for free. And the whole time I was designing this drum, I was working with excuse me, I was working with a professional CAD 3D designer in Europe, and there's a whole story behind why this person was in Europe. It turns out that they didn't have to be in Europe, which actually it was a double-edged sword there. But anyway, I was trying to explain to my designer how I had an idea to this. What we're seeing is this long rectangle shape basically is the wall of the drum, um, and I actually stuck a cylinder in the side of the wall, and then I wanted to show him how I could I wanted I wanted that hole, that air vent, to be a 45-degree angle. And I don't really know what I'm doing in these programs. Um, when I grabbed the circle that was in the wall and I went to turn it, it didn't know to let go of the wall, and so it ended up doing this really thing where you can see there's kind of like a hood above the circle, and then if I spun it and you see the outside, there's actually like a lip that comes up. Accident.
Ah,
Again, because I didn't know what I was doing with the program, this ended up being the thing that stuck. And so my designer took the idea, and obviously knowing what they're doing, they really refined it and made it very, very beautiful. And when we come back to my screen, then I can show you what the final product looked like. So move this thing out of the way. So you can see in the end, there's that lip on the bottom, and then it's mirrored on the inside. And so that actually does,
Oh, I see.
that can do some, yep, that can do some very minor, cool things where, if you imagine like a fan blowing down on your head, but you have a roof over your head, the air is going to go over the roof first before it goes down. And so the idea inside of a drum is when you hit the top head, we would like to think to a very small degree that the air will pass over that hood, hit the bottom head, and that's way back up. Now the easiest path for the air to go is now out of the air vent. And there's a whole bunch of, I don't know the science very well, but I do know that differences in the sizes of the air vents, or in this case, the angle of the air vents, can actually change the feeling of the drum or the tone of the drum. So it's kind of cool. Like I said, it was a happy accident and ended up turning into a really cool design feature.
That's so cool. I know you've got a couple of other photos that you shared with us with CAD and like the clay mock-up. Can you walk us through that? We'll put that on the screen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I thought these were just really cool examples of computer science and STEM crossing over like any boundary you can imagine. Like if there's something that you're interested in, you don't. A lot of people. It's interesting. You asked Ray like a cool question, like process or finished product, and I think what can discourage people sometimes is like if you're listening to your favorite record and you want to play guitar, you want to make a record yourself, or if you're looking at the 3D drum all done and I'm playing it on stage, between those two things, you might think like, man, like if I can't get there right now, what am I even doing this for? And I think you should know that some songs to finish from conception to the point where you hear it on a record, it could be anywhere from a month to 10 years or more. Some people sit on songs for decades before they actually release it because it just needed that time to become what it is. And as far as the 3D drum goes, the 3D drum, I've been working on that now for 6 or 7 years at this point. I kind of lost track a little bit. But before we even made before this red drum, the one that I've been playing on the road, that was 4.5 years before anyone even saw it on stage or heard it at all. Like we were 3.5 years in everything. And again, this comes back to the pictures you were showing. My designer might, he would send me these like really beautiful engineered drawings, and I would take a markup stuff in preview, and I would draw these really crude lines and type in text with numbers, and I'd point arrows at features that I wanted things to change, and I would color the arrow green if it was good, or orange if it was like something I wanted him to look at,
right?
or red if
a little choppy. Sorry, it's like losing connection a little bit, but yeah, if we want to show that photo that you sent over, I think it's towards the end of the slides. I think that's what you were talking about. So we're just going to pull that up real quick.
I didn't catch play mock-up. So what you're seeing here is this is actually another example of what I was. Are you still there, Jenny?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry. There's a little bit of some technical difficulties on the back end here, and it sounds a little glitchy, but I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Okay, so so should I keep going then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So so anyway, just the idea of um the process to getting to a finished product, you shouldn't ever hold yourself to trying to get there too fast. Making something like this, or like I said, making like a great song, they all take time, and they all need to be sketched first, and they all need to go through demo phases
Mhm.
first. Like most songs these days start on the voice recorder on our phones, and they sound terrible.
Mhm.
But that is how they start. So you can start there, and then, um, like Ray was talking about, all the different audio workstations that you can use. You can take that song into GarageBand, and you can improve it there, and then you can take it from GarageBand into Logic, or take it to a studio, or a friend you have that works on
Yeah.
things like that. And in the case of the drum, it went from drawing something on a piece of paper to, like I said, MS Paint or Preview on my Mac. And then it went to my designer. We went back and forth for about 3 years, and then I would hand it off to someone that could actually make it. And it took 3 different attempts to actually make the drum that we ended up with. So again,
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to like make a point where things have to go through a process to get to this polished finished product. And if that's all that anyone else sees, they're just going to be blown away by it. But again, don't let that blow you away so much that it keeps you from starting at square one.
Yeah, totally. That's such good advice. I do want to check in on Ray to see where he's at with the beat.
Hmm.
And we have some audience questions too that I want to get to in just a little bit. So we will check back in with you in just a quick minute. Okay, Dan?
Cool.
Hey, Ray.
What's up, Jenny? All right.
How's
Yes,
it going? How is the beat
it's
coming
good.
along?
I've been. It's good. I was working on it, but listening to Dan, he's so fascinating. Let me share. Let me show you a little something here of what we've got. So I have here on my screen. I just took some quotes I want to read. I'm going to play kind of each of the quotes that I really enjoyed from
Yeah.
the documentary. So this first one is from Ryan Johnson, software engineer. He says, I love the fact that I could actually be self-taught. It's all about what you bring to the table as opposed to your background. So I'm going to play him real quick. You can hear.
I love the fact that like I could actually be self-taught. It's all about what you bring to the table as opposed to like your background and what school you went to and things of that nature. So
That's Ryan. And then I wanted to put in Kelsey Campbell also. She had an awesome quote too. So hers is, I'll actually let you hear it and then I'll read it
Like,
after.
if I could go into the world a little more fearless, maybe I could build the world that I hope to live in.
So she said, if I could go into the world a little bit more fearless, maybe I could build the world that I want to live in. And then the last quote that I wanted to use that was really awesome was from Dr. Ann Gates, and hers is all about innovation and discovery. So
the whole notion is that we can't really have innovation and discovery and move that without a lot of different voices at the table.
So I had those, and then I found just a couple melodies that I'll let you hear. I'll let you hear just a little bit of it here. So this is one melody that I think I'm going to roll with that we're going to put in here. So let me play that here. So just the idea that for me,
Oh, I
like kind of hearing them speak. Yeah, I like the idea of like kind of hearing them speak, and then myself being a road tripper, like a past road tripper. Just that space, like when you hear, for me, like when I hear a quote or where you hear someone's just kind of inspiration from their life and what they're experiencing, that's like really powerful to me. So yeah, I have that, and then I have the other pieces. So I'm gonna just put those together, and then hopefully make a beat that can just kind of represent maybe like the journey. If like you're thinking, if you're in computer science, you're like, do I have what it takes, or like, do I have a place here? and just these ideas and
Mhm.
how you can, and just tying that into a little bit of a musical feel.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that you incorporated multiple leaders and yeah, like speaking from you and experience too, because you have been a Road Trip Nation road tripper. So love that all
Yeah.
of the elements that you're putting in there.
Yes, yes. I mean, we'll see how it goes. We're putting it together quick, so we'll see. Hopefully, I feel good about it. I feel good about it. So it feels
Me
personal.
too, me too. All right, cool. So we'll check back in with you towards the end of the show, Ray. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll let you get back to that, and we will go ahead and head over to Dan for some audience questions. Hey again, Dan.
To let me know she moved the router. So I hope maybe it makes everything better now.
Oh,
She's the
yes, I hope
best.
so too. I was like, oh, I can't hear you a little bit, but that's okay. We've got you back.
We cool.
All right, so we do have a question here. Was the red color a conscious choice, or was it just because it was the only color available? Is red your favorite color?
No, it's not actually. Uh, a decision was made between friends where I was kind of like I had an option to make it pretty much any like solid color that we wanted to, and I ran it past a friend, and he, I was like, should I go for just like like something that'll kind of a little bit, or this thing could be so startling to begin with. Should we just kind of go in that direction and make it like a bold, almost like obnoxious red? And he was like, absolutely. He said red.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was it. So we went for that one. So now we've been making a bunch that are like different colors, but honestly it's like it's just the colors of the rainbow, or like the main colors of the rainbow. It's not like we could, I guess we could pretty much do any color we want, but for now we're just kind of keeping it simple and
Yeah,
making everything really bold colors or really really tame colors.
yeah, nice. Okay, another one. Personal favorite song that you've written?
Oh, that I've written. That's really nice. I had a buddy who would say the same thing I said earlier, which is like it's asking you to pick your favorite child. I have a recent one that I think I think is a little bit beyond me, and I don't know if that's like conceited to say that, but um, sometimes I wish someone else would sing one of my songs so I could hear it with a better singer. And one of those happened last year. This Christmas song last year called "If Christmas Didn't Exist." Um, I have
Mhm.
this like it's not really a side project. It was just a thing I did in the past. It's called Mosey. Um, but the you have to kind of like read between the lines. The message of the song is actually a very positive message, um, and it very much like came to me. I had wanted to write a Christmas song for years, and it just never really happened. It was always kind of,
Yeah.
it just always sounded like another, just any other Christmas song. And I was feeling pretty fed up last year already, and at the end of 2019, with certain things going on in the world,
Yeah.
and these lyrics just kind of, I know it might sound kind of silly to say it, but seriously, like a lot of the lyrics just started kind of coming to me. And so that's why I
Wow.
say I think the song is a little bit beyond me. Like some of the lyrics I think are beyond certain things I've written before. So it'd be really cool if anyone wants to remix
Mm.
that song or sing it themselves and record it. That'd be really cool, and I
Oh,
would love to hear it.
that would be amazing. Can you share with us maybe your favorite line from that song?
Yeah. Um, yeah. The second verse starts out. Drive distracted for the haptic. What if mom hadn't swerved? And we had something happen to our family a couple of years ago where my mom got in a car accident because someone was driving coming towards her, and we did find out that they were like looking at their phone, and they crossed completely over into the
Mm.
opposite lane, which is the lane that my mom was in. And my mom thought fast enough to swerve out of that lane, and she ended up having to like kind of end up in someone's front yard. The girl, the car
Wow.
still hit hit my mom's car, and it was still pretty bad. But my mom is fine now, and she, everyone's fine. It's like it's okay. It's like
Oh,
a
good.
couple damaged cars and stuff like that. So everyone's fine. But that's the line is like drive distracted for the haptic, like haptic feedback in your phone. Like that's all people are. It's like you get that feedback. It's like a drug, and then the
Yeah.
next line was, "What if mom hadn't swerved?" So it's kind of you're like reflecting on the way things could have gone while you're obviously couldn't be any happier that everything went well and everyone's okay. So yeah, there's a lot of those lines in there.
Man,
It's
that
a fun
is
one. It's a
powerful.
thinker
That
a little
gave
bit.
me chills. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thinking.
So, Dan, I know we had one more clip that maybe we can show right now. I know Dave Weckl
Hmm.
went to one of your shows and he got to play on the 3D drums. Um, yeah, what did he here? Maybe we can check out the clip first and I'll get back to you.
Oh yeah, it's so
So
good. See,
cool.
when we were all talking about like doing this interview, and you're like, oh, it'd be cool if like you played the snare at some point, and I just shied away from it because I can't do that. Like, I mean, he's a rock drummer too, but oh, he's so good.
Hmm.
And so he was actually friends with he was friends with Brendan in Panic before I was playing with Panic.
Hmm.
He came to a show, I think like the first year that I started playing. I was just like, I saw him backstage and was like, you taught me how to tune drums, and that was like all I could get out. And then we hung out a little bit that night, and then he came back to LA, I think, to pray for the wicked. No, it was that was the Death of the Bachelor tour. And while he was back there, I was like,
Hmm.
Dave, would you please like do me the honor of like playing the snare? And he checked it out, and I think even in the video, I want to say that I think I can tell that he was actually enjoying it. He was super sweet. His daughter was there, and she like,
Yeah.
I was about to turn to his daughter and say like, hey, do you think I can like film him, like put it on? Already got her phone out. She's like on it. So she actually took that video. His
Yeah.
daughter actually took that
Oh,
video. Yeah. But oh, he's just so good, and you can see he's kind of like really putting his ear down to it, and he's going through all these different types of
yeah.
like all these different styles and rudiments, trying to like really hear what the drum can do. So I think he was into it, and hopefully we can actually get one to him, try it
Oh, that
at
would
his
be
home
so
studio.
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool. It was super special, and he told me later on they had a good time at the show as well. So that's always great.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks so much for sharing that clip with us. What a treat.
Yeah, of course.
So I know we're coming up to time, but I wanted to know, what are you focusing all of your creativity on right now? Like any cool projects in the works for you?
Yeah, the drum is kind of ongoing right now. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Um, it's because it started out as a labor of love I wanted to do for my own curiosity. It still kind of continues like that. I am working with a couple people on trying to figure out how to make more of them in a way that makes sense that we can actually share them with more people. Um, but there's a couple new iterations that we're working on right now, and we'll just have to kind of see where that goes. And on top of that, earlier today I was out. We have a barn at our new house, and I was out back with my framer friend,
Yeah.
who's helping me turn that into a dream studio. So it's the very beginning phases, but it's a really big project, and that will likely be going through to the end of 2001, and will take up a lot of my time. And then uh, everyone is just continuously looking forward to being able to get back on the road and go on tour again and see fans and play
Yeah.
music with each other. We just can't wait. We text each other about it all the time. Like, we miss you so much. And
Oh,
I
I
even
bet.
I even had a text one day that I was like, do you guys remember the smell of an airport in the winter? And everyone was like, oh, that's deep, Dan. Yeah, we can't wait. So hopefully everyone else is as excited as we are.
Yeah, totally. We had a really sweet comment. here that I want to share with you. They said you should have Maya sing it, and I'm assuming they're talking about your Christmas song that you wrote.
Oh,
But
she's
yeah,
in
I
it.
thought that was cute.
She's in it. She
Oh,
sings the
that's
harmony with me.
awesome.
It was like that was my favorite thing about the whole song was it was our first we've done like a few creative things together, and she's actually had me do a couple of voiceovers, which is really fun. But we've never done like a full song together. And I told her right from the start, I was like, I want you to do harmonies on this song. So you can hear her clear as a bell in that song. And it was so much fun because my vocals took me like, I don't know, like 2 days worth of tracking on my own. And hers took like 20 minutes. It was amazing. She's like, I don't know, you want me to redo that one? I'm like, I turn around in my seat. I'm like, no, perfect. It was really, really fun.
Oh, I
So
love
maybe
that. We've got to hear
she'll be
that.
the
I can't
background singer
wait.
on like all the Mosey stuff in the future.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so cool. All right. So last thing, we always like to end with what are some last words or piece of advice that you have for people out there who are inspired by your career?
I think it's really helpful. Well, I'm like speaking for myself. What I was saying earlier about like don't let seeing just a finished product intimidate you out of trying something that you might otherwise be really interested in. Um, start from square one. It's actually really fun, and just like Ray said, if you don't know it already, it becomes all about the process and the journey is so much fun because when you do have that final product in your hand,
Mhm.
you can really look back. And even in the case of like audio or with the drum, I can look back at old pictures. You actually had a picture on screen at one point of this like really early embossed version, and I went really overboard with it. And it
Yeah.
turns out we totally got rid of that idea because we hadn't figured out everything that was necessary first. I was already throwing designs on it, and what it really needed to do was actually work. Um, so
Yeah.
that's just another example of like just enjoy the time that it takes to make something that you're really proud of yourself, and if you're happy with it, other people will love it. I guarantee you, you don't ever have to worry about what anyone else thinks until it's done, and then you can enjoy whatever response you get. Whether someone doesn't like it, that might be their preference, and if they do love it, then you can enjoy that too. You can enjoy all of it as long as you love it and have fun with it.
Yeah. Oh,
Computer
I
science,
love
STEM, it's
that.
awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much for
you.
sharing all of that knowledge and having this conversation with us. We really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, we are going
Me
to
too.
close out for Dan's interview with a really cool clip that you showed us. So thanks
Oh
so
yeah,
much, Dan. Have a
Stratasys
great rest
Direct
of your night.
Manufacturing. Yeah, thank you so much. That was really
Yeah.
fun.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye, Jenny. I'm able to see that there are possibilities out there to do more than I'm even able to think of right now. The possibilities are pretty much endless. I can't wait to see what other people will do with this in the future.
If you had a project or a particular idea in your head that you couldn't necessarily bring to fruition, say 10, 15 years ago, try to dust that idea off and bring it over to us, and we'll see if we can make it happen by using 3D printing technology.
If anyone out there is inspired by Dan's 3D printed creation and wondering where else the intersection of music and computer science can take you, we've got a game to show you what's possible.
That was such a fun interview. I love hearing about Jan's story and the 3D drum. So cool. Technology is going to keep playing an essential part of our daily lives, which makes a background in computer science a wonderful tool. And there's so much you can do. So, Jenny, I'm actually going to need your help to explore some of those paths. Let's play the first round.
All right, here we go. Acoustical consultant.
Ooh, my favorite. Actually, Dan mentioned somebody was building a studio in his barn, and that's exactly what an acoustical consultant would do. So they strategically design and modify studios, performance spaces, and any other room to best amplify the movement of sound through that space. Okay, let's play another round.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Nice. Graphic designer.
Yeah, as a graphic designer, you can see your art printed on music-related projects like album covers, merchandise, t-shirts, and anything else you might find at a concert, using software like Photoshop or Illustrator. Okay, let's do one more round.
All right. All right, tell us about projection designer.
Yeah, anytime you're at a concert and you see the really cool graphics in the background, that's what a projection designer is doing. So they bring live performances to the next level by creating the visuals that are played during any kind of performance. I think if I had to pick, I'd probably choose designing, being an acoustical consultant, because who wouldn't want to design barns for rock stars? It combines my interest of music and design with science, and that sounds like a great time. I'd love to be standing in a space knowing that I helped amplify the sound that moves through it. If for those of you watching, drop the job you would choose in the chat. Thanks for joining for Cool Jobs with Carla.
All right, time to check in, Ray. I am so excited to hear the beat. But yeah, just let us know where you're at right now and what a little bit of your creative process.
Yes, so we are here. I was able to, didn't try to overdo it, so just made something and then exported it, sent it so that y'all can play it and then hear. But essentially just, if you just see my screen, I basically just dropped everything in. Like I didn't really like program too much stuff. So just used more like a curator, like DJing, finding some samples that I really liked and then put it all together. And then later in the process, like after when I go back on it, then we can fix like levels. You can do little effects to the sounds, just tightening things up. But I think for today, this was pretty good, and it has a feel in terms of just kind of what I felt watching the documentary. So if you guys want to give it a listen, nice. I can play it here. We're going to try to sync up because I sent the exported version. So I'm going to press play. It might not be all the way synced up, but you're going to be hearing a version that's actually going to be really clear. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I feel like if I could go into the world a little more fearless, maybe I could build the world that I hope to live in.
I love the fact that like I could actually be self-taught. It's all about what you bring to the table as opposed to like your background and what school you went to and things of that nature. So
the whole notion is that we can't really have innovation and discovery and move that without a lot of different voices at the table.
I didn't know about these different things. And I love the fact that like I could actually be self-taught. It's all about what you bring to the table as opposed to like your background and what school you went to and things of that nature. So
I feel like if I could go into the world a little more fearless, maybe I could build the world that I hope to live in.
We can't really have innovation and discovery and move that without a lot of different voices at the table.
I love the fact that like I could actually be self-taught.